Hey, what's going on, family? This is Ty from No Picks Podcast.
What's good, family? Joe, No Picks Podcast.
All right, so today we're gonna react to some TikTok content, right? Because of course, why not?
Yeah.
So, so the Supreme Court is going to be voting on a free speech ban on social media. So the two states that are going to be voting on it are Florida and Texas. And basically, what's going on is that a lot of conservatives have an issue that their voices are being basically they're being shadow banned on social media. They're being kicked off social media,
Interesting.
Twitter, well X formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. It's not really, if we're gonna be honest, it's not really known as a place that accepts conservative ideas, right?
Okay.
So basically, that's what this clip is about. We're gonna play it and react to it.
All right, let's go.
Huge impact on what you see and do not see on social media. CNN's Paula Reed is in Washington. These are fascinating and important cases, Paula.
Absolutely, John. These two cases could change the internet as we know it. The question before the justices today is how much power do these social media companies have to regulate what is posted on their platforms? Because here, Texas and Florida both passed laws that limited the ability that these companies have to restrict speech on their platforms. And of course, this runs right into some big First Amendment questions. Now, the states insist that social media, it's the new public square, and they want to try to, emulate what's in the Constitution, these First Amendment ideals that speech should not be limited. Of course, the First Amendment is about government limiting speech. It doesn't protect you from businesses limiting your speech, but these states have also insinuated that conservative voices, they believe, are all often suppressed. So they believe they need these laws to make sure those voices are heard. And John, anyone who's been on social media lately might take issue with the idea that conservative voices are being suppressed. But this group, Net Choice, they filed a suit to block these laws, saying, look, these social media companies, these are businesses, and you're actually violating their First Amendment.
They could have a huge.
Wow. Interesting.
Right. So,
Okay.
I'll set it up. So, Joe, what do you think? Do you think these politicians, these conservative politicians, have a point about social media restricting conservative voices?
So I think that yes, I think they do. I do think that some of them either get shadow banned or get lost in the algorithm. I do know that conservative talking points, depending on the platform, definitely get shadow banned. Or copy or community guideline strikes. So yes, I do feel like there is a concerted effort to suppress conservative views, right? Even ones that like necessarily aren't like disrespectful or like racist or bigoted, I mean, things like people would think of conservatives. But no, any perspective that's conservative, I feel like yes, they definitely try to suppress it. So I'm with it. But to that, I'll say they also, there's suppression on both sides. I don't want to play doubt, but there's definitely on both sides. But this is my biggest point, is that once you sign up for a platform, say X, say Facebook, say Google, or whatever, any social media, Instagram, when you sign up and you create your account and there's that whole list of agreement, the user agreement that people just scroll on past and hit OK and then sign it electronically and they sign off on it, that contract, all that is in there. So if you scroll through our whole agreement and just hit sign me up and you log into their platform, you have to abide by their rules. It doesn't matter about freedom of speech. That's how I feel. Like if you're using a private company's platform, you have to abide by their rules. And if they want to suppress your views, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You signed a user agreement. You know what I mean? So that's my first takeaway from this case. But what did you think about this?
I mean, I agree. I think it's an unfair fight for conservatives for sure, because I think Candace Owens mentioned it a few times. I was watching her show. She mentioned it, like how YouTube will kick her off if she talks about an OF model, or give her a kind of
Right.
copyright strike or something, or not a strike, or some kind of a warning or something like that if she like
Demonetized. You know what I mean? They'll do that too. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
No, it happens.
You can put this video out, but you ain't gonna get paid for it if you talk about this bad stuff. And what's typically pushed is the most the most liberal radical agenda.
It's happened to us. Tell them, bro. Tell them about TikTok. How many times? How many appeals have you won already for people trying to can't tell it? Like
you put a video out on TikTok, and it's I don't even. I hit you up all the time about it, but if you put a video out on TikTok that it just makes someone feel some kind of way, they'll report you and they'll suspend the video until you appeal it
Right.
and get it, get the appeal reversed, or sometimes maybe you just don't feel like doing it. You're like, bro, I'm not, because it'll take like 2 or 3 days for it to be
Right.
appealed, and and I've done it, and I've successfully gotten videos of ours, appealed and put back on, but it's like,
Right.
I mean, like, it's the damage is kind of already done. It's off the thing for 2 days. It's not on the thing anymore. I'm sure our account is probably shadow banned, right?
Yeah. Or lost in the algorithm. I hope not, man. But no, it does happen to conservatives, bro. And TikTok for me seems like a more liberal, geared towards like snowflakes and like the alphabet community and all these sensitive groups.
Anti-man. If you're anti-man,
feminists, misandrists,
then it's more, you're more likely to succeed. Even men. Like, if I'm a man and I'm against other men,
right?
Then it's a good thing, because I'll get the support of women, I'll get the support of the men that want to pander to those women, like how Derek Jackson was so successful. Although men knew he was lying from the fucking gate, women were just like, oh wow, like, we just believe this guy. He's so smart. He's so intelligent. He's so great. This and that. All his content was, women are awesome no matter what they do. Men suck no matter what they do. Hey, what, man? You ain't that good of a man. What you mean you don't want your wife giving blowjobs to 7 dudes on the block? What you mean? You know what? It don't matter if she gives blowjobs to all the dudes on the block. She's still a good woman. You need to stop being insecure and take her for who she is. I was sitting there looking at this shit like, wait, so I'm insecure because I don't want her sucking some dudes off. I don't want her sucking dudes off. I'm the fucked up one. I'm the narcissist. Right. I'm the toxic one. I'm the one that never been with a strong, independent woman before. I'm the pussy.
Right.
Like, get out of here. And that dude was successful. He's still successful. Even though he got found out cheating and all that shit, he still has a very secure female fan base that will ride with him to the end, because they don't give a shit about that. They're just like,
yep.
He's a man. They consider him attractive. They're like, okay, cool. He says nice things about us. We're going to rock with it.
Right. No, I definitely agree with you, bro. And listen, I fully support freedom of speech, right? There should be minor regulation, just because, like people said, like, either hate speech, or like you can't say yell out bomb at an airport, or like there are some things that you have to like regulate. You know what I mean? Like, but it has to be very minimal. But I completely support freedom of speech. That's why I hate cancel culture. Like, if you support cancel culture, you should not be complaining about these platforms, social media platforms, censoring speech, because you guys support cancel culture. That's part of we've talked about this. That came out of the left wings, the leftists, and I hate cancel culture.
Yeah.
I'm like, how you going to just completely try to cancel somebody over some words, over something that they said 15, 20 years ago? Like, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I think that people should have freedom of speech. I hate that the court of public opinion is so strong, and you know what I mean, and so sensitive. But even then, bro, cancel culture is another way that freedom of speech is under attack. Like, it's definitely happening, bro. There's some things you just can't talk about. Like, there's a disease out there that we tried to talk about. We ain't gonna talk about it no more. We can't say its name. Like, there are things that you just can't talk about. So, what I usually tell people, I used to tell this to black people too, like when it's complain, like, all right, for example, when people are like, Oscar's so white, right? Oscar's so white, Oscar's so white. And I was like, why y'all trying so hard to be in that damn award show? Why don't we start our own award show? As long as we play by their rules and use their institutions and use, their award shows, like we want to sit at their table. When are we going to create our table? So if you really want free speech, you either got to create your own platform or go somewhere where you can really have it. And that's why some people, like podcasters, they'll have the YouTube, but they'll have like a Patreon or a Rumble. You know what I mean? Because they're like, listen, I can't speak about it all here. Come show me some love here, subscribe, whatever. So bro, it's freedom of speech is under attack, and I hate it. I hate it, man. This is crazy. So wait, has this passed already? I forgot. Or are they thinking about passing this legislation?
Well, the Supreme Court is like bringing it. Is like, it's not in the Supreme Court yet, but the Supreme Court agreed to hear the arguments.
Yeah.
So I guess they're gonna see or whatever. But I mean, it's just whack. It's whack.
It is.
Like, all right, so this is my thing too. I want to ask you, like, do you like? All right, so in my opinion, right, support on social media doesn't translate to support in the real world.
Okay, I agree.
So there's a lot of people on social media that will, support something, be vocal about something, and never take that next step to actually support what they're talking about.
Right.
Like whether it's in entertainment, whether it's in
Right.
politics. Because
Right.
like Saweetie has like 12 million Instagram followers, right? She put out an album last year and she sold 1,200 copies of her album.
That's cool.
So although she has 12 million followers, there's 12 million young ladies that love Saweetie, right? That will support her on Instagram and like all her pictures of her pretty nails and her being in Dubai and all this stuff, hanging out on a camel, drinking Douce, whatever the fancy thing is, they'll support her and like her stuff. So her Instagram is popping, but she puts out a product, i.e. her album, and 1,200 people buy it the first week. 1,000 people buy it.
That's crazy. All them followers, and that's
all
it.
the followers, and so it's like it doesn't really translate. Same thing with politics. AOC Cortez, I know from New York. She's huge on social media and this and that. And I mean, because what's her name? Pelosi brought it up one time and was like, "Yo, like this stuff, these bills and stuff that you get support on social media, that don't translate into support in the House." So like you got she kind of played her a little bit a couple of years back and was like, "Listen, just because you get a lot of likes on social media, don't mean you can write this legislation and it pass the House, because all those people not supporting you."
Yeah.
You got people on social media clicking. Same thing with Bernie Sanders. I thought the whole Bernie Sanders thing was was some bullshit, because there's so many people supporting Bernie Sanders on social media, and I knew people personally that supported Bernie Sanders. And when a primary came around, they didn't vote for Hillary or Bernie. The PA primary, but they didn't vote either way. There was this female I was talking to at the time, back then. And I'm not gonna say her name or whatever, but she was like, "Yo, like Bernie this, Bernie that. I go hard for Bernie, blah blah blah." And I hit her up that the day of the primary, because I remember voting for Hillary. Like, yeah, I voted for Hillary, and she was like, "Well," I was like, "You voted for Bernie?" She's like, "Oh no, I couldn't, but I figured he'll win because everybody."
What?
Bro,
I can't stand people like that, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So support on social media doesn't translate to support in a real world, because there are so many people whose support begins and ends with a like, a comment, and they'll argue with you on the comments. You'll be like, "Damn, this motherfucker." A lot of them people, bro, just sit their asses in the house, eat their flaming hot Cheetos, drink their fucking Mad Dog 2020,
Hot Pockets.
It never leaves beyond there. On social media, they're social media warriors. They support all this shit, but in real life, they're not leaving their fucking house to cast a vote or buy a Sweetie album or vote for a AOC agenda. They're not doing anything.
Right. That's real. It really doesn't translate into the real world, the actual physical world. You're right. You're right, man.
It's just like the NFL shit. When people were trying to boycott the NFL, remember a couple years back? Oh, we boycott the NFL, nigga. Those TV numbers didn't get phased at all, because you know what? Everybody was just talking shit. Because remember a couple years ago, maybe it was like 8-9 years ago, the running back from Baltimore Ravens punched this girl in the face. And, the elevator. People they didn't the Baltimore Ravens didn't punish the dude, and then the footage came out. Then they punished him, but all the female groups were like, "Oh, we ain't watching football no more. Y'all better not watch football no more." Guess what? It never affected the ratings.
Never affected it.
Because like all the people that were talking about boycotting and all that shit, they probably weren't watching the games anyway, which was relevant, which was evident by the ratings, because the ratings didn't change. You know what? All the guys were probably supporting their wives out there doing that shit. They're like, "Yeah, honey, go get them motherfuckers. Yeah, NFL sucks." As soon as that bitch left to go to Target, the niggas like put that game right the fuck back on. It was like, no. They seen her car pull up in the park where they like turn the fucking game off. Like, "What you doing?" "Oh no, babe, I'm reading the Bible."
Yeah, I know, bro. And that's why so many of these companies and these corporations or so much shady stuff it gets a pass. Just gets completely overlooked, gets a pass, gets excused, because they know they'll be all right. As long as we keep entertaining them, we ain't gonna worry about it. We ain't losing the money. We're not gonna lose the support. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna keep supporting regardless. So that's true, bro. Well, listen, this is what happens, bro. Freedom of speech is getting suppressed. It's not going to change because people aren't going to do anything about it. Honestly, they can cry about it, but they're not going to do anything about it. But I do think that conservatives have been getting more suppressed lately. I say within the past, I'd say ever since like when it really started getting crazy when like Trump first ran, like when MAGA became a thing and the people were in Charleston, marching with the tikis, talking about the Jews will not replace us and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah, that was
And
good.
I think around that time, something really weird happened, and Facebook was doing stuff that were like influencing all the fall. Remember fake news and misinformation that was happening in Facebook, like
Yeah,
Russian bots apparently were like doing stuff too. So like a lot
yeah,
happened in social media. So yeah, I don't know. I don't support the limiting of speech. I don't, bro. I don't regulate it. No hate speech, of course. Nothing disrespectful. Nothing dangerous. Don't incite violence. But other than that, let people say what they gotta say. And if it's offensive and people don't like it, then you'll face the backlash. But you gotta have the freedom to say it, bro. You
right.
have to have the freedom to say it. So this was interesting. So do you have any final thoughts on this? Because this was an interesting one. I wonder what the family thinks about, because it's a slippery slope, y'all. Be careful. They're going to be censoring more and more speech, and they'll just keep doing it as long as we allow it. So let's see what happens, man. Let's see. Hopefully, we don't get banned off TikTok. I think it's coming soon. I don't. I'm gonna
Like,
knock on wood. I'm
you
gonna knock on wood, but it's coming, bro. It's
You gotta hurry up and
inevitable.
stop playing around and Facebook and Instagram. But TikTok is
Yeah,
kind of like,
TikTok hates us.
yeah,
TikTok is the worst, man. I appreciate it. We got Tyrese the lawyer here appealing all the cases. Like he putting in time, bro. So anyway, all right, family. Let us know what you guys think about this ruling about censoring speech on social media. Do you think it's a thing? Do you think one side is getting more censored than the other? Anything at all? Just chime in, like, subscribe, and until next time, y'all be
the next time.
safe.